Hi everyone. So we are going to continue with D and F block elements. So today we'll be discussing F block elements. Today is our lecture 29. Now elements in which the last electron enters in F subshell are known as F block elements. And the general electronic configuration for F block elements n-2, F 1 to 14, n-1, D 0 to 1 and n is 2. Okay. What is small n here? N denotes principal quantum number of the valence shell. Okay. So n-2, F 1 to 14, n-1, D 0 to 1 and n is 2. What is n here? N is 6. So 6 minus 2, that means 4f. So successively which orbital is filled up? 4f orbitals. And 4f can accommodate maximum 14 electrons, and therefore F block elements, they are 14 in number. And D can accommodate maximum 10. But just see here that either 0 or 1. And I have written here the configuration. You can see cerium, it has D1 configuration. Then comes gadolinium, D1 configuration, and the last element lutetium has got D1 configuration. Rest all 11 elements, they have D0 configuration, my dear children. Okay, so only 3 elements amongst 14 elements of lanthanoid series have got D1 configuration. Rest 11 elements, they have D0 configuration. Okay, so this is their general electronic configuration. Now what about their period and group number? So they belong to third group of the periodic table, and sixth period. If you remember when we studied transition elements, then lanthanum in sixth period, where there is a star mark whose atomic number is 57, and thereafter at the bottom of the periodic table 58 to lutetium 71, 14 elements. So here you can see cerium 4f1 to lutetium 4f14, and sixth period lanthanum, then cerium to lutetium, and seventh period same group, that is third group. What happens that there is double star on actinium whose atomic number is 89, and thereafter at the bottom 7th period itself thorium 90 to lawrencium 103. So once again 14 elements. Here successively 4f orbitals are filled up, here successively 5f orbitals are filled up. So both the series contain 14 elements each. Now they are known as inner transition elements. Inner transition D block elements, they were transition elements, and these elements, F block elements, they are known as inner transition elements. Then they comprise of lanthanoids and actinoids. Lanthanoids belong to 6th period, actinoids belong to 7th period. They both belong to third group of the periodic table. Okay. Now let's begin with the periodic trend and properties. So first of all, electronic configuration, my dear students, you can see here lanthanum, it's a D block element. After lanthanum, it starts with cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, promethium, samarium, europium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, holmium, erbium, thulium, ytterbium and lutetium. These 14 elements are there. And you can see 4f, 5d and 6s orbitals are filled up over here. Sixth period they belong, and third group of the periodic table. So this is what the electronic configuration. Now since the electronic configuration is written over here, so let us discuss the oxidation state first. Okay. Now, oxidation state of the lanthanoids, their common oxidation state is +3 and therefore they are denoted as lanthanum +3. Ln denotes lanthanoids and they have common oxidation state of +3. But the important +4 oxidation state is exhibited by cerium and terbium. And there is a logic behind it. When cerium shows +4 oxidation state, you can see after losing its 4 electron, then it attains xenon configuration. That means it attains stability, it attains to noble gas configuration. And similarly, if you consider terbium, now look here, 65 atomic number. After losing 2 electrons from here and 2 more from f orbital, then it becomes 4f7, half field stability. So therefore, which two elements amongst lanthanoid series can show +4 oxidation state? It is cerium and terbium. Then +2 is shown by, let's see, europium. After losing its 2 electron, it becomes 4f7. So therefore europium. And have a look upon ytterbium. After losing 2 electrons, it attains stability, fully filled orbital. So therefore, europium and ytterbium. These are very, very important for objective type questions, that amongst lanthanoids, who can show +2, who is able to show +4 oxidation state, and so on. Okay, so this is about their oxidation state. Now the next is atomic and ionic radii. Okay, so across the lanthanoid series from cerium to lutetium, for 14 elements, the total decrease in atomic radii is only of 11 picometer, not even 14 picometer, and the ionic radii decreases by 18 picometer. So this steady and small decrease across the lanthanoid series due to increase in nuclear charge is known as lanthanoid contraction. It's very important, as I told while teaching transition elements as well. So what is lanthanoid contraction? The steady and small decrease across the lanthanoid series due to increase in nuclear charge is known as lanthanoid contraction. Now the question is, why such a small and steady decrease is there? What is the cause of lanthanoid contraction? Why such a small decrease is being observed while moving across the period of lanthanoid series? So, as you all know, as I have said, that electrons are progressively added in which subshell? 4f. And since 4f orbitals, what is the shape? They are diffused and complicated. So therefore, they have very poor screening or shielding effect. So the cause of lanthanoid contraction is the poor shielding or screening effect shown by 4f orbitals, which in turn is due to their diffused and complicated shapes. So what is lanthanoid contraction, what is its cause, and what are the consequences? So full question is important from here. So now let's see what are the consequences. Okay. So the consequences of lanthanoid contraction, the number one, separation. Okay. So since they have almost similar atomic size, so their chemical properties also become almost same. So their separation becomes difficult. However, in modern technology, some latest techniques have been arrived by which we can use like fractional crystallization, sublimation, and so on. But in general, their separation is difficult. Secondly, due to lanthanoid contraction, the elements of second and third transition series, they have almost similar atomic size. As for example, zirconium and hafnium, niobium and tantalum, molybdenum and tungsten. We have already discussed about it. If you remember, that they are from second and third transition series respectively, but still they have almost similar atomic size. And what is the cause behind it? Lanthanoid contraction. And the third is basic character. Okay. So as you all know, across the period, basic character decreases. So therefore, lanthanum hydroxide is most basic, whereas lutetium hydroxide, this is least basic. Okay. Now some of the general properties of lanthanoids, they are, so far as their colors are concerned, so the color, they are silvery white metals which get tarnished when they are exposed to air. Okay, and their melting point ranges from 1000 to 1200 Kelvin, but samarium is steel hard. It has got very high density. Its melting point is also 1623 Kelvin. So samarium, its density is high, its melting point is high, and so on. And their ionization energy is comparable to alkaline earth metals. Second ionization energy is just double as compared to the first ionization energy, and it is comparable to group 2, that is alkaline earth metals. And because of high ionization energy, lanthanoids, they are less reactive as well. So they have less chemical reactivity, but still some of the reactions you can see, when they are treated with acids, then they liberate hydrogen gas. Upon treatment with water, they form lanthanum hydroxides. When exposed to air, then they form lanthanum oxide. Upon treatment with halogens, halides, when heated with sulfur, sulfide. When heated with nitrogen, nitride, and upon heating with carbon, LnC2 carbide. Okay, so these are the important chemical reactions of lanthanoids. Though in general they are not that much reactive, but still you can see with acids they liberate hydrogen gas, with water hydroxide and hydrogen, with sulfur sulfides, with halogens halides, with nitrogen nitrides. Upon treatment with air, exposure to air, they form oxides, and when they are heated with carbon, then they form carbides. Okay, now some important uses. Okay, so lanthanum oxides, the mixed lanthanum oxides, they are used as catalysts, especially for pyrolysis of organic compounds and so on. And one of the very important alloy that is known as misc metal, okay, which consists of 95% lanthanum, 5% iron, and then traces of calcium, sulfur, phosphorus, etc. And this misc metal is very, very important for producing different type of alloys, bulletproofs, lighter flames, and so on. So oxides, hydrides, they can be used as catalysts. Then this is the misc metal, which is used for alloying, and this is very important, alloy of lanthanoid. And this is important for objective questions as well. What is its use? What is its composition? And so on. Several times this question has been asked in CBSE board examination about misc metal, what is its composition, what is its use, and so on. Okay. Now, actinoids. As I said, actinoids, they belong to 7th period, and here successive filling of 5f orbitals take place. And some of the important points by which we can distinguish between lanthanoids and actinoids. Okay, so here actinoids, and let us make here lanthanoids. So as you all know, here successive filling of 4f orbitals, here 5f orbitals are successively filled. Then common oxidation state is +3. Here also common oxidation state is +3. Few you have seen that +2 and +4, but very restricted, 2 elements each. And actinoids, they can show higher oxidation state as well, +4, +5, +6 and +7. Why does it happen? How come this is possible in case of actinoids? Because here 5F, 6D and 7S. And since the energy difference between these orbitals is very small, and therefore they can lose their electron and they can show the higher oxidation states as well. Then actinoids, they show common oxidation state +3, here also +3. Then this is about their exceptional behavior and so on. Then they form oxo ions. Lanthanoids, they do not, like UO2 plus, Neptunium and so on. Except promethium, all lanthanoids, they are non-radioactive, but actinoids, most of them are radioactive in nature, which are used in nuclear reactor as well. So most of them are radioactive in nature. Okay. Then few lanthanoids, when they are dissolved in aqueous solution as well as in their solid state, they are colored. And the color is due to FF transition. We have studied in D block elements. D block elements, they are colored due to DD transition. But F block elements, when we talk about them, then here the color appears due to FF transition. So far as magnetic properties are concerned, magnetic properties of actinoids are more complex. Okay. Then one very important, this question is given in text as well, that actinoid contraction is greater from element to element as compared to lanthanoid contraction. What's the reason behind it? Explain. I repeat, actinoid contraction is greater from element to element as compared to lanthanoid contraction. So why does it happen? Because in actinoids, as I have said, and you know very well, that electrons are successively added in 5F orbitals. Since 5F is farther from the nucleus, 5F, its shape is more complicated and diffused as compared to 4F orbitals. So what happens? That since 5F orbitals, they have poorer shielding and screening effect as compared to 4F even. So therefore, actinoid contraction is greater from element to element as compared to lanthanoid contraction. Okay. So my dear students, from F block elements, their general electronic configuration, then their common oxidation state, their group number, their period, then chemistry in regards to, with reference to their electronic configuration, oxidation state, general properties, color, magnetic behavior, and few diagrammatic chart and representation which I gave regarding their chemical properties. Then the comparison or similarities and dissimilarities between lanthanoids and actinoids. So prepare the chapter very well. I have discussed during our classes each and every question of in-text as well as exercises. So go through the chapter well and prepare it thoroughly. And today we complete this. In our next lecture, we are going to start with coordination compounds. So thank you all. Thank you very much.